So I'm gonna be painting this new girl, Peach. I've been very obsessed with peach colors lately, and I think they're perfect for summer. So I'm making this girl Peach, and so I'm gonna lay down this base color first. See, isn't it so nice? I used to kind of be a big orange hater and whatnot, but I've been really trying to expand my color palettes recently and use colors that previously scared me, like orange tones and yellow. Because I often find that I sit in my comfort zone of like red, pink, blue, and purple. So I'm gonna be doing things differently. But as you can see, I'm laying down this layer and using a decent amount of pigment so that it's uniform. And when I get to these areas around the eyes that I don't want to bleed, I'm gonna be using mainly pigment without a ton of water. Place it down and then spread it towards those lines. And this is how I keep it from bleeding. Also, because I'm using 100% cotton, this fabric definitely helps with the bleeding too, because it really soaks up the pigment in the water rather than having it go everywhere like other fabrics. So that's why my suggestion is always to use 100% cotton. And it's good for stitching too, so it's a win-win for sure. All right. And this piece is definitely gonna be a bit tricky because I haven't done hair like this with so many gaps before, but I'm definitely excited. And I still haven't quite decided what color actually I'm gonna make the hair. I think that'll be a later decision. And yep, once again, going in through this tough area, definitely putting the pigment down here first and then moving it up to where the eye line is, because we don't want orange eyes. Okay, I'm trying to flatten this out a bit more so I can see what I'm doing. And I gotta make sure I get into these areas, which are parts of the face that I'm going to leave open. So this is gonna be a bit tricky, that's what I was talking about, but I think it's gonna turn out cool. So that's the base layer, and I'm gonna wait for this to dry for like 2 seconds before I start adding some just general shading in the areas. But until then, I'm gonna hopefully not be making a dire mistake doing this, but try to fill in some of the mouth. And I'm gonna be wanting to use some really this dark kind of pinkish thing color. But like I said, I gotta be really careful so that this doesn't bleed into the rest of the piece. Like I said, could be making a mistake, could happen, but we will try our best not to make it happen. And I'll probably see. Okay, I think it's working. But I'm definitely gonna add some more definition in there later. And now we're gonna move back to the face. And I think that I'm going to use this color rather than that one to provide some shading, because this has more yellows in it than what I put down here, I think. Okay. So I'm gonna start an easy part, like right here. And then work my way into some of the more challenging areas. This was definitely a really, really hard face to draw. I mean, it's the angle, and also just the eyes were so hard. And I mean, the sketch took like hours, and I actually had to redraw this once I drew it on fabric because I didn't like the first one. So that was a huge shame, but I would rather redo it and be happy with it than work on a piece that I thought was ugly. So I'm just adding some of this base shading, and I'm gonna add way more once this layer has dried. So basically when you add this kind of like blocked in shading, it should really blend in and almost be like the same color as what you're mainly working on. Because we just kind of want to block in those areas that are going to have more definition. Gotta make sure we blend. But this one doesn't have a cheekbone, so we're definitely gonna have to pay more attention to other areas of shading so we can give this face the depth that it needs in order to really pop on the canvas. Well, not on the canvas, on the fabric. I'm just used to originally painting on paper and canvas because that's what I was trained to do. I did a lot of art training in high school, and I did the AP arts, so I did lots of that. And I actually did a semester of art school, but then I kind of decided it wasn't for me because it really made me stressed out and hate the one thing I love. So the last thing I'm gonna do is add a bit of this darkest color here to block it in too, but we're gonna add a lot more definition once this is dry. But I just want to make sure I mark down the darkest areas of this piece. And it doesn't really matter if I get this elsewhere because that's going to be the hair. All right, so this is kind of all we could do for now. I'm gonna wait for this to dry, AKA I'm probably gonna blow dry it dry because I'm impatient. So that's something that you can do for sure to get it to dry faster, or you could just wait like a normal person. So I hope you enjoyed watching me paint this peach girl, and there will be more to come soon.